Once upon a dream, the really long journey back to the castle. It was hard to tell how much time she spent practicing, but it felt like an infinite number of afternoons of summoning the rocks from the walls to come to her and rebuild themselves into a barrier, unending hours of bringing anything weak and breakable down from the ceiling onto a head of her imagined enemy, days of causing the very earth itself to ripple like the ocean under the feet of her assailant, without a break for snacks. And yet it still wasn't as much time as they needed. "We must go soon," the Blue One told Philip in a low voice, while the princess made chairs fly up around the room. "Time passes slowest in this, her most buried memory, but it passes nonetheless. Maleficent has abandoned all pretense of being good, and may just keep consuming people until every one of them is gone." "But once we leave here she'll know where we are, won't she?" Philip asked. "Unavoidable," the Red One said, polishing the end of her sword. He watched her deft movements with frank admiration. "We must progress right to the outer edge of her dreams, where the Queen holds sway. She will not come to meet us." "A bird helped tip one of Maleficent's traps on our way here," the prince said eagerly. "Maybe along the way we could gather some more, have them help us?" "Birds?" the Blue One looked at him blankly. "Oh, sure. Yeah, birds. Why not? Any help, right?" The Green One patted his knee encouragingly. Philip twisted his lip in a suspicious pout. The chairs dipped in the air and almost fell as the princess tried not to laugh. "All right," the Red One said, giving her sword a final swipe with the leather strap she had been using. "Let's go." The little procession made its way back through the room with the cradle, where the princess said a silent goodbye to her parents and her baby self, who seemed so happy in the moments before she was whisked away to the woods for 16 years. They filed through the front door into the twilight gloom, which seemed utterly appropriate for the beginning of their secret journey. The three women were suddenly wearing travel robes, though no one had said a thing or lifted a finger. Philip raised an eyebrow. "Shouldn't we magic up some provisions or supplies for the return trip?" "Don't be silly, you don't really need to eat," the Blue One said. "You're not really here." "It's like being dead," the Green One said helpfully. "You realize you only think you need the stuff the living do." Philip's look turned to one of cosmic dismay as the implication of what she said about began to sink in. Meanwhile, Aurora Rose was thinking furiously in the pause before the storm. She had never done anything violent in her life before the adventures. She wasn't sure she could plan to now. Kill someone? Someone she knew? Would any of her remembered affection for Maleficent slow her hand when they faced off? It certainly wouldn't cause a moment's hesitation from Maleficent. She discreetly juggled 2 or 3 rocks at her side with her mind. It helped distract her. "I'm going to miss this," she said aloud with a sigh. "All this work, and when I wake up I won't even have these powers anymore." "You don't even have them to begin with," the Red Fairy said pragmatically. "But she has experienced it now," the Green One said. "It's hard to go back to not having something so wonderful. Plus now she knows she was living with fairies the whole time, and that's gone too. She's going to have to begin a regular human girl in a world where princesses are used as pawns and never have any sort of real power of their own." "Thanks," the princess said. "I was trying not to think of that." "Hey," Philip whispered in her ear as he caught up with her. "I think I figured it out. The Blue One is the smart one, and the Red One is the brave one, and the Green One is nice or compassionate or something." He really was just trying to help. "Oh, yes, I'll bet that's probably right," she said, slowly trying to make it sound like she meant it. "I was sure of coming to a similar conclusion myself." Philip smiled, pleased with her praise. "I wish I had my horse. Samson could take at least 2 of us, or maybe 3. He's really strong, you know, just a bit temperamental. Did I ever tell you that he was part Nicean? You wouldn't have guessed it from his color. It's definitely his warhorse tendencies, I can tell you that." She understood that he was excited by the return journey to the castle, probably a little nervous about the final showdown, and perhaps showing off a bit to the one in red. "I do wish there was a faster way to the castle," she said instead of "shut up. I'm worried about this time we're wasting, and Maleficent being able to see that we're